Canada is one of the richest, stable, and most prosperous countries in the world. It has a population of 38 million people and a GDP per capita of $52,000 according to 2021 values. Its economy is highly diversified, with a large presence in key sectors such as oil, gas, agriculture, mining, and the manufacturing industry. With regard to immigration, this has always been a very determining factor for the country. It is believed that about 22% of Canada's population is immigrant. Thanks to the arrival of immigrants since the last century, they have managed to drastically increase population density, accelerate the economy, and get cheap labor from countries like India, China, or Pakistan. During the second quarter of 2022, Canada experienced one of its biggest immigration spikes in its history due to the large number of Ukrainian refugees and immigrants being accepted into the country. Another important factor that favors immigration is its geographical proximity to the United States, which facilitates the migration of people from that country, especially Latinos and African Americans, in search of better opportunities and a better quality of life. Yet despite all this, recent data from Statistics Canada shows that residents of Ontario, one of Canada's largest provinces, are migrating to other cities in search of housing with more affordable rents or higher wages. In addition, a recent Bloomberg article states that Canada's largest cities are becoming larger and more expensive, forcing thousands of residents to move to places with cheaper costs of living. According to data from this agency, Toronto, the largest urban center in the country, saw almost 100,000 people leave the place, where 78% of them chose to settle in other, less expensive parts of the province for a period of at least 1 year, or even have a better economic situation. But there are even more reasons that are forcing thousands of Canadian immigrants and families to move to other cities with a cheaper cost of living. Canada has always been known for providing a great quality of life, income, and security of all kinds to its citizens, but now it seems that things have turned around. The number one reason many are fleeing Canada is due to a shortage of low-skilled jobs. While it is true that the unemployment rate in Canada is practically low, barely 5% in December 2022, this rate only takes into account the number of unemployed and not people looking for better paid jobs. And this is the main problem for many workers in Canada. There are a lot of low-skilled workers and few highly skilled workers. A new survey found that Canada ranks among the top 5 countries with the most difficulty finding low-skilled work. This is because most of the residents who come to Canada are young students looking for extra income or immigrants from the third world who want a better quality of life with low-skilled jobs. The problem is that there are not a large number of jobs to cover this demand, causing wages in this sector of the labor market to plummet. The study found that the shortages are more severe in Atlantic Canada and British Columbia than in other sectors. Due to this imbalance in the labor market, a doctor in Canada, according to data from Glassdoor, earns an average of $9,000 per month, while the average salary in the country is around $3,500, a figure that obviously the less experienced people cannot achieve. Undoubtedly, the shortage of low-skilled jobs is causing a massive exodus of immigrants and young people who initially sought a better quality of life in the country, and now they have no choice but to leave the country. The next problem is the high taxes due to the unsustainable pension system. In Canada, the population is aging rapidly. People are living longer and women are having fewer children than before. Life expectancy in Canada is 82 years, one of the highest in the world, not to mention that the advancement of medicine would further extend life expectancy. According to the Business Development Bank of Canada, 270,000 people are expected to retire or withdraw from the labor market each year during this decade. The birth rate has also been falling, making the situation even worse. This is the birth rate, absolutely insane. In the year 1960, the birth rate was 26.70%, and since then, it has progressively fallen to 9.40% by the year 2020. Fewer babies being born, fewer future workers will support the pension system. Additionally, the average Canadian resident pays a tax of 42.5% of their earnings, according to the Fraser Institute. These taxes include the federal income tax, the provincial income tax, and other indirect taxes on goods for daily use. But this number will be even higher for workers when the pension system gets even worse. In short, the aging of the population and the free fall in the birth rate are making the pension system more unsustainable every year. The government has no choice but to raise taxes every time this happens to prevent the whole thing from collapsing. And this huge tax increase is already forcing many to migrate to other countries. If you are a resident of Canada, you are not charged directly for health services, but is this free health system worth it? The truth is that there is a limit on the number of patients per free doctor, which means that if your doctor is already treating a certain number of patients, you may have to find another doctor who is available and accepting new patients. Public clinic doctors in Canada work only 8 hours per day, so it is difficult for one to be available to all patients that same day. In addition, these clinics only cover urgent needs or treat diseases and not, for example, periodic checkups or cosmetic issues. So even though medical care is free, you may need to go to a private clinic if you don't want to wait days and miss a day of work. For those sick people with fewer resources, it is almost impossible for them to pay the high costs of the health system. So they have no choice but to wait or migrate to a country like the United States where salaries are higher and doctors less scarce. According to the National Rent Report for November 2022, the median monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto reached $2,478 in October, an annual increase of 23.7%. And taking into account that the average salary in this same city is currently around $3,000 per month, it means that Canadians or immigrants with a work visa have to allocate a large percentage of their salary to the monthly rent payment. Homes in Canada are getting more expensive every year, and this is evident through the number of homeowners' mortgages and through tenants paying the rent on a monthly basis. These constant increases make it quite difficult for a student or person in the beginning stages of their career to settle in Canada. Unless you're a person with a good skilled job in Canada and receive a good salary, you have no choice but to migrate to areas farther from the city or cheaper provinces. In fact, according to Statista, 45,000 Canadians immigrated to the US between 2021 and 2022 to escape extreme cold, and where rental prices are equal to or cheaper than Canada. In conclusion, Canada is an excellent country to look for work or study opportunities. However, the high cost of living is causing thousands of Canadians and immigrants to seek better opportunities in other, cheaper provinces or even in their neighboring country.